It's your time to renew, rebuild, and restore.
Hey, it's your boy Eli.
It's your girl, Shape. Let's go. Welcome to the Rebirth. Happy Monday. I'm your host, Shay Marriott.
And it's your boy Eli. Isabel, aka the South, got something to say. Happy Monday, family. What's up, Shay?
How are
I'm
you?
doing well. How are you?
I'm good.
I said,
I'm
how are you?
good.
What is that?
I don't know. You always come with something new, but it's all good.
Switching it up on you.
I'm Fern.
You turn it on. Hey, y'all. Welcome to the show, man. Thank you all for joining us.
Yes, for
tonight.
sure.
Happy Monday, Shay.
Yes. Happy Monday, guys. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you again. As always, we appreciate you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you.
Yes.
But have you hit subscribe? Have you hit the subscribe button?
Question.
Yes, that's the question. Please, guys, we only ask one thing: subscribe and share. That's all. Subscribe and share. That is how you show support. That is how we are
Yes.
able to continue to bring you good content. It is important.
And we're asking you nicely now.
We're-
If the numbers don't go up, then I'm gonna ask in my way.
Oh, okay.
And the numbers may decrease, but you're gonna get my point.
Yes, yes.
Right. No, I'm just kidding. We love you guys. Like and subscribe, man. Share anything you can do with Rebirth. Tune in all the streaming sites: Amazon, YouTube, Spotify,
Apple, iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
Yes.
We're there. If you miss
Yeah.
us and whatever you streaming off of, go check us out, man. We're there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
how was your weekend?
Oh man, let me tell you, Shay. It's really weird. My kid turned 17.
Wow.
On
Shout out to
Saturday.
Helly Rose.
Shout
Happy
out to
birthday,
Helly
Helly.
Rose. Yeah. She turned 17 and reality is really setting in.
How are you feeling? Like, how you feeling? Like, because every time she turn a
Yeah.
year older, you turning a year older. I'm just saying, that's
Yeah. Anyway, it's a sad happy.
a sad happy.
Like I'm happy
Okay.
to see her move forward in her life, and I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to what all the great things she's gonna do that I know God is gonna bless her to do.
Mhm.
But I'm sad because that's my partner right there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Well,
Like,
she's still gonna be your partner.
she's still gonna be my partner, but
Yeah.
it ain't gonna be there.
Yeah. So,
I ain't gonna be able to walk down the hallway and bust in her room.
well,
You know.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, I knock first, but I ain't gonna be able to just go down there and open the door and there she is laying on her bed or whatever.
No, I get it. I get it. I get it.
I know you.
I got a
Give me some insight
19-year-old and
then.
what I'm learning is our children will always need us.
Yeah.
They're just going to need us in different ways, and we have to learn how to parent in different ways, right? So you will no longer be parenting her as a 12, 13-year-old. You will be parenting her as a 17-year-old. And she may not require parenting, but more so guidance and coaching now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that you have to learn what your role is now in your child's life, and adjust to that.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think sometimes we feel like our children no longer need us, but they do. But you have to
Right.
understand how they need you now.
Yeah. I agree. I think that's going to
Yeah.
be the challenge. I think
Mhm.
because my role has been this one thing
Right.
from the day she got here.
Mhm.
And now again, and I kind of experienced this with Iana, but not to the point where because she lived in Atlanta. But
Mhm.
the dynamics of our relationship definitely changed as she got older.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I went through it, but I didn't go through it because she
Yeah.
didn't live with me. But this is gonna be completely different.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be a little hot mess for a little bit.
You are. I'm telling you are. You saw how I was with my son, with my
Yeah.
oldest one.
Well, I'm supposed to act like you because I'm a man.
No, what that mean?
Because
You still got emotions and
I'm
feelings.
just saying I'm supposed to put my bravado on and not act that way because my child is going to college.
No, we got to send the right message out to our men, right?
You know what? My friend Nicole, who I work with, she said she dropped her son off in August, same as
Yeah.
you took Xavier down. And she said all of the people that were boo-hooing and hollering were the men.
Yeah.
The women were standing tall. She said that the men were like, the men she saw, they were in breakdown mode. When
they must have had daughters. Did they have daughters?
They had daughters.
Yeah,
and they were a mess. I was like, jeez. What the heck?
They was probably afraid. I ain't even gonna say that. They probably was afraid that their daughters were gonna come back home a virgin. That's probably what it was.
kids are they
We keep it
going
real.
down
I
there?
mean, I literally saw college students when they go away. I mean, a lot of them that's their first
Right.
experience.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm just ask y'all to start the praying for me now.
hallelujah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Just gonna ask for that. And I don't
We
really
gonna lay hands on
I
you
never
because
asked people to
you
pray for me because I
well, you don't want
my
everybody
mama
praying
said
for
yeah, she
you.
said you gotta be careful when you
Yeah.
ask to pray for you because some people be praying on your downfall.
Right. Right.
Lord, don't help that. No. But yeah, man, just if you love me, if you get a little fond of me,
Yeah.
say a little prayer for me.
Yeah, for
Yes,
sure.
I
For
need that.
sure.
Thank you. Thank
For
you.
sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So listen, again, guys, we have a great show for you
Mhm.
tonight. If you have not yet subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share this video. But before we get into the title of tonight's show, the
Yes.
South has something to say.
Yes. Yes. Tonight, y'all, this is something that's near and dear to my heart. Growing up the way I did, where I'm from, it was a thing where we were big. Respect was big
Yeah.
with adults, and so this is something I want to cover. I thought this would be something we could all get into. You guys can share your opinions. I know the culture is different in different places, East Coast, West Coast, wherever you're from. Maybe things are a little different, but where I'm from, things pretty much ran a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to definitely get into my video for tonight, man, for you guys to kind of see where we're coming from. And we're gonna rock out with this. Let me know what you guys think on the other side.
I'm curious. I want to take a poll and see what you guys think about this. So there is a clip going around that's 30 years old from the Donahue show of Maya Angelou sternly correcting a young girl who referred to her by her first name as Maya. Dr. Angelou told her, "You are not qualified to call me by my first name." She was very respectful, but she was very stern, as how we was raised. That generation, that's how they spoke to you. Now, a lot of people are going back and forth of, oh, she was disrespectful. Oh, she didn't have to correct her. Who does she think she is to demand to be called Miss Angelo and not by her first name? I was born in the 70s. I'm a Gen Xer. We were taught etiquette and respect. You say Mr., you say Miss, Mrs., you say please, and you say thank you, and you say you're welcome. Now, if you were to call an adult by their first name, it's because they granted you permission, and you usually call them Miss Pamela or Miss Pam or Miss Jeannie or whatever the name was, right? But there was always that Miss there if you were to call them by their first name. So now the debate is, do kids need to earn, do the adults need to earn the respect of a child? I don't understand that. So what are you guys' take on this? Do adults need to earn the respect of children to be called Mr. and Mrs.? Is that where we are now? Drop a comment. I'm curious.
Yes. So welcome
Wow.
back, y'all. Um, this video to me, like I said, because of where I grew up at,
Mm-hmm.
I think that we were raised to address adults a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I first, not when I first moved here, but when I moved here, I would meet my friends' parents, and I would say, "Hey, Miss So and So, hey, Mr. So and So." They were like, "Oh no, you don't got to call me that.
Mm-hmm.
You gonna make me feel old."
Mm-hmm.
And I would be thinking to myself, like, I don't ever recall anybody that I was growing up under as a kid that said that showing them, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, Mr. David,
Yeah.
Miss Jennifer, Miss whoever, that was taken as a form of disrespect, which is like crazy to me.
Yeah.
And I see now in the culture of the children that are being raised today, I know it's a situation where you have to be taught things.
Mm-hmm.
And so and I don't know where we left off on this. I even had a young lady say to me one time, this was a young man I was working with. He was 17 and he had an auntie that was 28. And we were talking about him calling me Mr. E. And she was like, well, adults, old heads always want some kind of extra respect. They always want some kind of extra respect when they don't give it. I'm like, and I just kind of was thinking to her, like, and she had little kids that were like 5, 7, 8, a couple of girls. And they would try to also say, Ed.
Yeah.
No, you cannot. You have to call me. He's 17. He calls me Mr. You have to do the same.
Yeah.
But it was just like, that's not, I feel like kids, I've heard kids today say, oh, well, you ain't showing me no respect. Why am I going to give you respect? Like, the respect doesn't come in the form. Respect is how I treat you and how I take care of you and how I love on you. you respecting me is by being mindful of me being in your presence and addressing me the way that I asked you to address me.
Yeah.
I think we've gotten away from that. And so my children know if someone's my best friend or they're my friends, then you're gonna call them probably auntie or uncle or Mr. or Mrs.
Yeah.
There is no, hey Vinny, hey Duffy. There's none of that. You have to put something in front of that.
Right.
And I feel very strongly about that. And I think we've gotten away from that a little bit.
I completely agree with you on this topic. Absolutely. I think that it's this goes back to parenting. I mean, you bring up the child the way that you're supposed to be bringing up your children, and if you do not include that respect and teach them how to be respectful to elders,
Right.
then they're not going to do it, right? So it's not that we gotten away from it. I think the parents is responsible. It goes back to that mom and dad. It goes back to what you're instilling in your children. I am big on that.
Yeah.
To the point where, as everybody already know, I'm engaged to be married, but my sons and my fiance has a problem with this. But so my sons address my fiance as Mr.
Right.
Mr. Shannon.
Right.
That's how Mr. Shannon.
So what's the issue?
He always says, and babe, I'm putting it out there because I think this is important. He always says Shannon, like they can just call me Shannon, and I'm like, no, but I understand his point. It feels like it's too formal,
Right.
With the fact that he is my fiance, but it's out of respect.
Right.
And that is what I instilled in my children. That is what their father instilled in them. So there's no exception,
Yeah.
to that.
That's right.
And I'm with you on that. I feel like you need to put Mr. or Mrs. in front of a name. You're not
Yeah.
my peer.
Exactly.
You're not my peer. So
And just like the young lady in the video when she addressed Maya Angelou, like, you're 20 maybe?
right.
You're calling her Maya?
Yeah.
Like, there's something in my spirit, right? Like, I would never call your mom. I always call her Miss Williams.
Mhm.
Like, what's your mom's first? I would never
Eileen.
be like, hey, Eileen.
Right.
That don't even feel right to me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm 50 plus.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I think there needs to be. This is part of where I think we've gone wrong in our community. It's the little things that we don't do anymore, and they set the tone for the larger things that the reason why we're in disarray. And that may seem like a very small thing to a lot of people. Not saying Mr. Hey, who cares? Just call them. Their name is this or that. No, there's a method to. In my mind, there's a method to the madness, and we need to act accordingly. To real people
Absolutely.
in, because if you don't respect authority in your house or at school, how are you going to respect it largely in public?
Yeah.
And when somebody has a gun on you telling you to stop, and you're like, we see people get killed all the time because they don't want to follow directions or they don't want to. And I'm saying you have to bow down to anybody.
Right.
But I see people lose their lives over because they feel like they're being disrespected.
Right.
And it's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, what do you guys think? Put it in the chat comments. Does it bother you if a child, younger, teen, adolescent, whatever, refer to you as your name and not put Mr. or Miss in front of it? Is that a problem for you? And to be honest with you too, the other thing that stands out as well that I think bothers me is when you enter into a room and you don't speak to the person that's there. And you have people that debate and say, well, they didn't speak to me, but you're the person that's entering.
Right.
So I think that people get, like you said, we've gotten away from the rules. But then you can have that argument where people would say, well, who made those rules?
Right.
And rules are meant to be changed or broken or whatever the case may be. But, does that bother you if someone was to walk into
I'm looking
a
at you
room
real
and not
crazy.
speak to
Yeah,
you?
I'm looking at you real. To me, it's second nature. It's nothing I have to think about doing when I walk in. Hey, how y'all doing?
Right.
That's it.
Right.
You have to greet everybody individually.
Right.
But yeah, so listen, pull your kids up and pull your kids up and make sure that they're on the right track. And because respect goes a long way. That could get you in rooms that your credentials or that your name can't. If you come in and you're respectful, people are like, okay, people will see something in you based upon that. So, let's work with this for our people, man.
Absolutely.
We got to do better. And that's what the South got to say.
All right, South. You got some good stuff.
Call me Mr.
Mister.
at all times.
Mister. Color purple. Mister. Oh, speaking of that, man, rest in peace. We lost a good one.
Yeah.
Good, great actor. You recently saw him in The Color Purple. Lou Gossip Jr. You know, I had a brain fog for a minute.
I saw you. I was gonna jump in there because I posted about that.
Yeah, he passed away. I'm sure you guys know that information by now.
Yeah.
That he passed away. But yeah, man, he was a great actor, and he's been in everything, right? So that's like Morgan Freeman.
Still kicking.
Like, he done been God, and I'm starting to think he really God, you know?
They say Morgan Freeman was born in 22.
Listen, he's been around for a long time. But shout out to Lou Gossip Jr.
Yes.
Rest in peace, and you know, his family.
Black excellence.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So again, guys, welcome to the Rebirth. Thank you for choosing us. Thank you for spending time with us on a Monday night. We really appreciate you. Tonight we have another good show, but hot topic. Tonight we're going to be talking about, do single mothers raise uncontrollable children? Okay. And I want to, before we jump into the video that we have, Eli, you actually found this video. You actually chose tonight's topic.
Yes.
First of all, why did you choose this topic?
Several reasons. One, I was raised by a single mother, and I felt like, now everything she said, I don't necessarily disagree with, but also there are kids that come from stable 2-parent homes that are in prison.
Absolutely.
So it's not 100% factual what she was saying, and I think she didn't lend the right context to it because she just made it one broad stroke of the brush, and I think that's what probably has people in an uproar. And you have raised your boys not as a single mom, but alone. The last few years, and they are awesome.
But I haven't, and I think that's but yeah, they are awesome. Thank you, I appreciate that. Absolutely. But their father is definitely active,
right,
in their lives.
No disrespect, Lauren.
So but I just want to clarify that, so thank you for pointing that out. I'm sorry, try my words, but thank you for pointing that out, because when we talk about single moms, right, we're in this video, and I want to say in some other, you know, informational videos that I've come across, they're referring to mothers where the fathers are not involved. However, I have seen content where they're also speaking about mothers that have been divorced.
Okay.
Or anybody that's not a widow. Right. Is what they're referring to, right? But the reason why I wanted to put this disclaimer out there is because this is not our thoughts at all, but this is more so an awareness that we're bringing. I do not feel that this applies to everyone,
right.
And I definitely don't agree with that this is fact, because it's not facts. But this is something we're going to share for entertaining purposes, and then we're going to have a conversation surrounding it. So please stay tuned for the video. Single mothers raise the worst children.
And come back with your feedback, please.
Are in a fucking crisis, a pandemic with this single mother and shit. But it is a proven fact that single mother households produce the worst product.
Facts. That's
it's
100% fact. Yeah.
If you take 2-parent households, single father household, single mother household, statistically based on facts, the household with the woman heading it by herself produces the worst product. And for our people, for Black people, for African American people, those single mother households are the reason why prisons are filled with a good majority of our
You are 100%
people, right? So these are facts. You sit this on the table. Here go the fact. And then you say, so y'all need to start valuing men being involved in the lives of your children. I can't make you be with your baby daddy, or we can't say that somebody has to stay with somebody, because we know that children are being born out of situations where the two people aren't healthy together.
Yeah.
But you having access to a man and a woman during your upbringing needs to be brought back.
I feel you.
I gotta laugh when I say this because the females get so mad, but we are in a fucking
All right.
All right.
Are you effing mad listening to that?
So I'm not mad, but I think that it's important that we be careful about as you notice in the video, she kept saying facts, 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 facts. And I don't know who homeboy was, but he was like, that's a fact. That's a fact.
He probably was raised by a single mom his damn self sitting up there.
But it's an opinion, right? It is
Yeah.
It's an opinion. And I think that first of all, the statistics was way off. I believe she said 71%. So there was a survey that was done within the justice system. And according to that survey, and again, it depends on what research you're looking at. It depends on what study you're looking at. 47% reported, 47% of the population, right? When we're talking about men in prison, 47% reported growing up and raised by a single mother. And this is from men that were in prison. And this was done through the justice system, a survey. She says 71%, right? This study is saying 47%. So again, we have to be careful. Everybody has an opinion. Right. And it's fine for us to have these conversations, but we cannot get on, platforms where this information is going to be shared amongst millions of people and say something is a true fact.
Yeah, no, definitely
Right?
not.
No,
Right.
it's not.
So I did a little research too. And so I came across 67% of Black children born in this country are born to a single mother. Now, whatever that looks like, it didn't specify. It didn't say a single mother with a dad that's active, like single meaning they're in the house with mom alone. That's how I took it. In the house with mom alone, dad's not active.
Right.
So if that is how it's being described, I think that is a problem. Does that guarantee that your child is going to go to prison? Absolutely not. My father left. I was born in November of 72. By January of 73, he was gone.
Yeah.
And I've never been to jail.
Yeah.
I've never been arrested. I'm educated. I might not always show it. I'm educated. I think I've done a great job of raising my children with the help of their mothers. So it doesn't, it doesn't mean that, because I grew up with some dudes that had mom and dad and jail.
Yeah.
Off and on over their whole adult life. We're now in our 50s and dudes been going to jail since our mid-20s. Off and on. So I think it just depends. See, I think it just depends on the family, where you come from. And because parents have to, when you're raising kids, you have to stand in it with them. You can't raise them from over here. You have to be in the mix. So yeah, I it's not all what she said is not facts. There's some true elements to what she's saying. There's some horrible kids out here that was raised by a single mom. So yeah.
You know what it feels like to me though? And again, I think that man, this is why we do Rebirth Lives. Right? Because these are some hard conversations to have. But this is what it feels like. I feel like here's another topic. Here's another conversation that divides the Black man and Black woman. And here's another situation where we're pointing fingers at single women.
Right.
And it's like we're beating them down because they're single. Okay. But we can completely turn this around and say absent fathers, right? Instead of calling it single. Do single moms raise the worst kids?
Right.
Well, this could be, do absent fathers have, the worst kids, right? But it feels like it's a pointing the finger where you're a single mom, where you're an absent father, and we're still not getting down to the meat and potatoes of why there is such a breakup in the Black community when it comes down to our families.
Right.
We're not solving the problem.
We're not. And we know that this goes back to the creation of we'll go back to slavery, how they broke
Mhm.
us up, and they may have taken your husband and sold him because they saw him rear. He was a big, strong man, and they know he could rear other big, strong boys.
Mhm.
So he was of high value to slave masters. So
Mhm.
they would sell him for whatever the cost was to another slave owner to impregnate the other. So black men have been taken out of the picture from day one,
Mhm.
and because of that, I think, I think this goes to the independent, strong black woman mantra that we hear all the time.
Mhm.
I think that because of that, black women have had to hold it down even from back then,
Mhm.
because the husbands were either killed for bucking master, or he was sold off. So I think it's so way deeper. And then you fast forward to Jim Crow and the welfare system. Okay,
Mhm.
we're gonna give you this apartment, we'll give you this amount of money a month, but no man can live here.
Mhm.
The further breakdown of our families,
That's deep right there.
and
What you
then
just
you get
said.
into then you fast forward
Yeah.
to just the criminal justice system within itself.
Yeah.
How we're punished for way harder for the same crimes as other ethnicities may not.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
it's a complete breakdown of just a black family
Mhm.
from slavery to today.
Mhm.
So then so that's where, to me, the prison to pipeline conversation comes in. We send our kids to school. They have a single mom. She has to work extra. There's not a lot of supervision because she's trying to make a way.
Yeah.
Your kid is not doing his homework. He doesn't know how to read. He's being pushed through.
Yeah.
He gets to a certain age. He's tired of struggling and being poor.
Mhm.
The streets offer a different, not every kid, the streets offer a different alternative for him. So what does he do? He goes to the streets. What happens when he goes to the streets? He ends up in jail.
Mhm.
So I think those things are part of why we get that stigma that single black women raise the worst children. I think some of those things are like valid points that we have to really kind of take a look at, and it is systematic racism
Mhm.
to a degree. Um, it's just a lot, and we have to, which is my camera. Men, we have to step up and take responsibility. I think
Mhm.
we do a great job. And no, I'm gonna say not we, but society as a whole does a great job of absolving the absent father.
Yeah.
Because when you're out here in these streets, you have choices you can make, and if
Absolutely.
those choices are gonna take you away from your child, then you
Yeah.
need to think twice. And I had another point I wanted to make. I'm sorry, Shay. I'm getting to it. I'm getting to it.
No, you're good. You're
Um,
good.
Yeah, just the whole thing about us not being accountable. Men, stop making children with women you don't want. That's another part of the problem. I think that might be the biggest part of the problem, more so than men being jailed or just being a bum. Like, why are
Mhm.
you having unprotected sex and making a baby with a woman that you know you can't see yourself with?
Mhm. And I think it's the same, in regards to women, um a lot of people have babies by men that were not ready to be fathers, and they wonder why they're not showing up in their kids life. They was not ready. That man should never ever been even considered to be a father.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't ready. He does not have the what it takes, or at least hasn't it hasn't matured in him
Right.
yet.
Right.
What it takes to be a father. So therefore, um they do what was done to them.
Yeah.
They are not present. They avoid. They're not showing up. So you say you were raised by a single mom. I was raised by a single mom as
Mhm.
well. I was raised by some very strong, amazing black queens, which is my mother, my grandmother, and my aunt Betty. But my dad, I recall a few times, where I spent some time with my dad. But the men that really showed up in my life was my uncles.
Mhm.
My uncles, they were my fathers. My uncle Arnold, Uncle Alvin, Uncle Art. They are the men that showed me and taught me and spent time with me. My godfather as well,
Yeah.
who's no longer here, Reverend Reverend Kuntz. So and I think I turned out pretty well. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know what causes it to go left, but I don't like to hear these type of videos where it's like so general.
Right. Broad, just a broad
it's such a broad
comment.
comment that we're single moms, right? Yo, we out here doing the best that we can. You know what I'm saying? Some of us, they are struggling, and they may be struggling with their own mental health and insecurities or whatever the case may be. But I think that we got to stop blaming.
Right.
We have to really come together and say, well, what is it? Why is this happening? Now, I saw something when we you talked about doing this topic, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was researching, and I probably won't get this right, but I'm gonna do the best that I can. It was a conversation on this, why single moms raise the worst kids.
Right.
And so you took it back to slavery, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were saying, so when master raped the black woman or whatever, his way of already putting in place what that future is going to look like is to get in the woman's head. And if whatever he instilled in a woman, she's going to now instill in her children.
Wow.
Right? So we talk about that systemic, right? So how you bringing up your children and the things that you're saying, like Dr. Brown last week was on here. She's a doctor. She said there's so many things that she now has to unlearn. Right? So some of the things that we were taught and we were learned, and we look back and we say, well, where did that come from? Well, and nobody can really answer the question, where did that come from, right? If you really trace it back further enough, it came from the slave master. Some of this stuff. But because no one questioned it,
right?
Because what happens as a kid, as a black kid in a black family home, when somebody questioned that, just do what I said because I said, right? They don't give an explanation. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know? So when I heard that, I was like, yo, so it's nothing else he needed to do to destroy the black family, because it's instilled into the mom, and the mom is now training the children what she was taught and what she was learned. And that goes on and goes on. Generational curses.
Yeah. And then we fast forward to now. I hear a lot of, and this is no blame, this is just what I'm telling you what I hear. I hear a lot of that title, I'm a strong, independent black woman.
I don't like that.
But now I'm starting to hear women say,
I like that.
I don't want to be strong and independent. I want a man. I want help. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to be a family unit. And I think that for so long, like my mom and my siblings or my aunts and uncles, they were alone.
Mm-hmm.
And they held it down. And it was like an acceptable, they weren't looking for a husband. They may have had a little boyfriend here and there, but they weren't necessarily looking to get remarried or any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. And
matter of fact, they never really got divorced from the person that they had been with for 30 years.
Yeah.
They just weren't together no more.
Yeah.
But were still legally married.
Yeah. Oh,
so,
yeah.
It's just traditions, whether it be good or bad. We have to take a look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that don't work for us, we have to move beyond those.
We do.
And I think in our culture, we don't do a good enough job of that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just think, again, there's elements to the video that hold some truth, but there are a lot of kids from 2-parent homes. Look at them, the Menendez brothers. Hell, they came from a 2-parent rich. They killed the parents.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
That doesn't, it's all in the parent and what you instill in your kids from very, very
absolutely
small.
The relationship that you have with your children. I mean, another thing, another video I came across, they were talking about how women that raise sons,
right,
and the dad is not involved, that child is always around women, which means that child is going to take on the emotional intelligence of a woman, because there's no man there symbolizing how to handle things that, emotionally.
Appropriately.
Right. Well, as a man would handle it. I don't want to say appropriately, because we may not handle things different. We may handle things differently, but it doesn't mean it's inappropriate.
Well,
We might be a little bit
right.
more emotional with things.
Well, and I mean, when I say appropriately, I mean
Mhm.
like every disagreement does not have to result in me and you fighting me for the gun. Like,
Right.
we need
right,
to have
right,
enough emotional
Right.
intelligence to be like, all right, we agree to disagree,
right,
and we go on about it. I stay away from you, you stay away from me.
right,
Why somebody gotta die?
right.
That's what I'm talking about. And I
Yeah.
work with those little boys you're talking about, that 3 to 5 age group.
Mhm.
That is just mom
Mhm.
and grandma.
Yeah.
Dad's not around, and they are very sensitive. And I
Right.
feel like the parents today, they put more effort into what their kids are wearing in the school as opposed to
Mhm.
what they're putting into their head,
Yeah.
and how they're raising them properly. I see it every day. There are, from the head to feet, Polo, Nike, Jordans, all of that.
So why do you think that happens? Like, why do you think that, the labels and what the child is wearing and the sneaks, and why is that so important? Like, is it a way for the parent to say, what their status is, like they're able to do this or they're able to afford it? Because I think most of the kids that are wearing these things cannot. It's the opposite. They can't
Yeah.
afford it.
They can't. You are absolutely correct. I think it's just a way of overcompensating
Mhm.
for the dad not being there. And you think about this: when the kids 3 to 5, they want the light up shoes that you stomp on the floor. They don't care about no Jordans.
Mhm.
They're gonna
Right.
outgrow them in a couple of months anyway. So you
Right.
spend $100 on a pair of shoes that the kids.
The Jordans is for the parents.
Yeah, and it's for the
Yeah.
people to look like, oh, he's so cute. Look how he dressed.
Yeah.
But this kid don't even know his last name.
Right.
This kid can't even count to 10.
Right.
Like, so I think our priorities are, and I see the quote unquote prison to pipeline thing. It really starts in pre-K. And we
That's young.
I talk with parents every day, and their priorities are so crazy. Like, what's important? We're trying to help your child learn to be able, just basic comprehension,
Mhm.
please and thank you. And you will argue with us about that right there.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So you're already setting your child up for failure, because in a pre-K program, we'll deal with a lot more than elementary school gonna deal with,
Mhm.
because we don't want to put them out.
Right.
So yeah, it's just, I think we are setting our children up. The men not being there, being a positive influence, is setting our kids up.
Yeah.
And I think I told you this before. My friend Joe, I just talked to him the other day after like a year, and I mentioned to him about what he told me, how his father said he hadn't seen his dad since he was like maybe 5 or 6, and he found him. When he found him, he was like 48,
Wow.
and his father said to him, he said, son, and my successful pharmaceutical sales rep, big house, has done well for himself, and he said, son, you're lucky that I wasn't in your life, because I probably would have screwed you up, because I wasn't what you needed
Mhm.
at that time.
Mhm.
So I think
Yeah.
there's something to be said for that also.
Yeah.
And the father give his mother credit and his grandmother who
Absolutely.
raised him. So it can be, that's proof that it can be done.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
done every day.
Absolutely.
Um,
It's about it's really about how you show up.
yeah.
And again, I hate the blaming. I just hate that we're just pointing fingers, and it's just like, this is our families.
Yeah.
This is our Black family. Why are we pointing fingers and trying to put, no, it's the collective. It's the moms, it's the dads. At that point, when a child comes into the world, it stops being about you.
Right.
It's about that child. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I wish we can get past that. Like, I wish we can get past the anger, the hurt, the pain, and
Right.
you're not going to see the child, or I'm not going to be there, I don't want to be there, and just make it about the child.
Yeah. And that takes a certain level, that takes an abundance of emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
That most of us, when we're young, 21, 22, and we done had a kid with somebody, and y'all broke up, now she done moved on,
Mm-hmm.
that dude ready to clown. Or he won't just deal with the kid, period.
Yeah.
Which is insane to me. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So I think the takeaway with all of this is, don't believe everything that is put out there. Social media is a platform. It's a platform of opinions. Do your research.
Right.
Like, check into that. There's just, if you look hard enough, you're going to find content
Yeah.
to degrade men. You're going to find content to degrade women. But are we resolving? Are we, getting to the resolve of what needs to
Right.
happen to be better
Right.
moving forward.
I think we don't. Most of the time, I think it's clickbait, it's likes, it's content, and not having a resolution is as valuable as having is speaking about the mess.
Hmm.
So it keeps the conversation going.
It definitely keeps it going. But I think too, this particular conversation or topic, and I don't remember her saying black, but I remember her saying single moms,
Mm-hmm.
right? But when we have this topic, it's always geared to the black
Because
community.
it's negative.
It's always geared to the black community. It's not geared. There's single white moms,
Yep.
single Latino moms, single, there's other ethnicities that are raising children and they're single mothers or single fathers.
Right.
But it's always, this particular thing is always geared to us,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that you have a lot of people that feel shamed,
Yeah.
when you hear something like this, like,
And it's
I don't know.
perpetuated too. Think about this. Go back to Boys in the Hood. When Trey turned 12, 13, he had an issue at
Mhm.
school. What happened? He went to live with his father.
Mhm.
That in that movie, it stated that you've taken him as far as you can take him, Rita.
Right.
He needs to come with me now.
Right.
Not it didn't it sort of low key insinuated that she didn't do her job because had he not had those problems, he'd have stayed there with her.
Mhm.
And he went to his dad's every weekend or every other weekend. But again, just the low key or the indirect. This is mom's fault that
Mhm.
this happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Because the black man is considered to be the disciplinary.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
considered to be, but
Mhm.
that's not always the case in real families. That's not always the case. I've seen where moms will be whooping some behinds and dads be like, I'm sorry, baby. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't, yeah.
I've seen dads threaten the kids. I'm gonna tell you, mom.
Right, exactly. So it doesn't
Yeah.
fit every situation. I think the question or the discussion should be, how can we, avoid having these type of end results? What
Yes.
can we
Yes.
do to make sure that we are there for our children, rather we're single or we're not single? The
Right.
truth is, relationships end. Everybody
Yeah.
is everything is not happily ever after. You know what I'm saying? But I think we have to do a better job with, number one, who we decide to lay down with and have children with. I think that's where we need to start.
Right.
Um, and everybody is not meant to be a daddy or a mom.
That's right. But when you're put in that position, it's all about accountability. It's all about loving that new
Yeah,
thing that
for
you
sure.
help create and being there. Again, you said it earlier, Shay. You got to put all that other stuff to the left and come together. If you don't agree on nothing else, you have to agree on this being the priority, that child, and then you raising them the right way. It doesn't have to
Absolutely.
be in a 2-parent home. Ideally, I think most of us think that is the way it should be. And I don't disagree with that part.
Mhm.
I think kids deserve to have the best of both parents. They didn't ask to be here. So
Absolutely.
then all best your happiness, whatever you have to sacrifice to make that a priority, then you have to do that. You created this situation.
Absolutely. And
So
you
yeah,
don't have to be together to be good parents to
right.
your children.
Exactly.
So let's stop that. Let's focus on being good parents and less on why this person did this to you, why all the
Mhm.
hate and all of that that's going on.
Right, right.
All right?
All right, Shay.
All right, sounds good. So listen, guys, if you like tonight's topic, if you agree, let us know. Put it
Or
down in the
disagree.
chat, or disagree.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Put it in the chat. We love to hear your feedback. Also, if you have some suggestions, if there's some things that you would like I'm messing your whole name up. If you would like Eli
Eli.
and I to talk about, make sure that you drop it in the chat as well. So we have Rebirth Live that's going to be coming up soon in the next few months, and we're actually looking for some new people on the panel. So if you're interested in talking to us about being on the
Right.
panel, shoot us an email at info@rebirthlive@gmail.com.
Right.
All right, so make sure you guys do that. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tanya.
Yes. Thanks for rocking with us, guys. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Again, make sure you subscribe, like, and share, and make sure you are following us on all social media platforms. And if you would like to hear a retake of tonight's show or
Yes.
either in or shows we've done in the past, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, iHeart, Spotify, you can find us there. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until next week, have a blessed night.